all parts of the organization to drive real change, real change. Now, the way that I articulate this blue chip for international is I think about it as the big five. And what I'm talking about are 5 big problems in our stores organization. 5 big problems that I am going to take personal responsibility for fixing with the help of all of you guys in this room in our great company. Who knows what they are? Who's heard me talk about the big 5 before? Okay, just a handful of you have heard. Who's read the newsletter? It's in the newsletter. Not that that is where you should necessarily receive all of your communication, but it is in the newsletter. I would encourage you all to read it. But knowing that not many of you have heard about what I mean by the big 5, I'm going to take 5 or 10 minutes to tell you what this means to us in international, okay? So, 5 things wrong with our stores organization. First thing that's wrong, we have the best brands in the world, certainly the best brands in the USA, and yet we choose to pay the people that work in our stores about the minimum wage. You go to any store in the USA and you will find people working there who are earning about $9 an hour. If they're doing really well, they'll be earning 10. If they're knocking it out of the park, they'll be earning 11. It's not right, people. If you go to our stores in the UK, if you go to our stores anywhere around the world, generally speaking, you will find people working in our businesses who are at the bottom end of the food chain. From a pay perspective, it's not right. How can we have the best brands in the world and choose to pay, not you all, but the people that work in our stores at the lowest possible rate we can get away with? It's embarrassing. We have to change that. That's problem number 1. Problem number 2, we've chosen, by reasons of wishing for flexibility and for reasons of wishing to avoid paying healthcare costs, being really honest, we have chosen to populate our great company, our amazing brands, with high emotional content, with people who can only work a few hours a week. We have 100,000 people work in this company in stores. 80,000 of them are part-time, only 20,000 are full-time. We have got that round our necks. How can you possibly be expert at something if you're only working on a part-time basis? I get it, that in the beginning of time when all of this was invented, and we're the same as all retailers, by the way, around the world. This is the way the world works. The premium was put on flexibility. If you can come in for 6 hours when I need you, that's the most important thing. And if all you need in your retail concept is warm bodies to be there, to just do the basics, open the door, maybe work the till, it's probably okay. It's not okay if you want a selling organization. If you want a selling organization, you need to build expertise. Who in this room has ever sold a bra? A lot of you, about half. Is it an easy sell? No, it's not. It's complicated. This is not a sale that is given to somebody who is earning $10 an hour and is working for 6 hours a week. It's not. There's a complete mismatch there. Problem number 3. We shouldn't be surprised to know that as we only employ people who can work for a few hours a week and we only pay them the minimum wage, that they leave. In fact, they leave at the rate of about 100% per year. That's what happens in our stores. Our great company, our great brands with high emotional content, we flip our people at a rate of once every 6 months. That's the idea. In some of our businesses, we have turnover rates as high as 300%. That means that the manager, that means that the people who are full-time, they probably don't even know the names of the people that are working there. That means that we need systems and HR capability to continually hire and rehire and rehire and rehire. There's a machine in this company just saying hello to people and saying goodbye to people. It's a revolving door of retail people earning the bottom end of the food chain. Now, why would they choose to leave? Why would they choose to leave? Great company, great brands, very nice environment to work in, hopefully good people. Why would they choose to leave? Well, a director of ours was buying a pair of shoes in Nordstrom recently, having impeccable service, amazing service. And he said to the young lady that was helping him, he said, "Wow, you are a born salesperson. You are brilliant at this. Seems like you really love selling. Seems like you're so happy here." And she said, yeah. And he went, "Really? You surprise me. You're born to this. It just seems magical." And she said, "Well, I'm still kind of in mourning." because I've only been here 6 months, and prior to coming here to Nordstrom, I worked for the best company in the world. And I've kind of, had a hard time adjusting from coming from the best company in the world. So he said, oh, wow, oh, my goodness. She said, yeah, I was there for 9 years. I loved it. Every day was a good day. It was the best place ever. And he said, well, goodness me, who was that company? And she said, Bath & Body Works. So he immediately went, oh, I know a thing or two about Bath & Body Works. And then sort of got nervous and thought, oh, God, maybe she was fired for killing somebody or something. And so he said, interesting. So he said, well, I'm just curious, but, why would you, if it was so good, if it was the best company in the world, you've worked there for 9 years, why would you have left? And she said, because I can earn $24 an hour here. Now, who would begrudge that woman leaving 9 years of employment, continuous employment with BBW to go and earn $24 an hour in Nordstrom? Who would begrudge her that? Nobody. It's a no-brainer. You've got to put food on the table. You've got to feed and educate your kids. You've got to take care of your families. That is worth more than $10 an hour. That is worth more than a life expectancy of 6 months. It's worth more than 5, 10, 16 hours a week. Do you agree? How did we get here? We are embarrassed to say that it just kind of got away from us in all of our businesses. And just like the rest of retailing, almost all of retailing, this is the way the norm is. Let me give you an example of an exception to this rule. And that would be a store called Container Store. Anybody been to the Container Store? Okay. Is there more emotional content in lingerie or in empty boxes? It's obvious to me. Is it obvious to you? Empty boxes? Anybody stand up if you're an empty box fan? Well, Container Store said, actually, there's quite a lot of selling required in the Container Store. And it's a place where we want to have the best possible people in retail. We can't be bothered hiring and rehiring and firing and saying goodbye and saying, can't be bothered with all that. We just want full-time people, mostly, or people that can work a significant number of hours, and we're going to pay them properly. The average sales associate in Container Store earns $47,000 a year. That's about $25 an hour. Do you know what their turnover rate is? 5.7%. 5.7%. They've nailed it. They've absolutely nailed it. Let's think about the other two big problems in our big five. Problem number 4. Incredibly, until very recently, we have no tracking of individual selling capability in our company. Everybody is born equally. So if you ask the store manager, who are the top sellers in your business? They would probably say, I think it's Reagan. They don't really know because we don't track the performance. Can you imagine inventing a sales-oriented company and saying, we're not going to check whether people are actually any good at selling. We'll just assume that they are. Can you imagine that? It's a dumb idea. It's a terrible idea. Now, just recently, in all areas of our company, in BBW, in VS, in La Senza, in all parts of the world, we've started to change this. Michelle and Deb were telling me a story. When they put sales tracking into place in La Senza, that they identified that the top performing salesperson in the company for this particular first week that we looked at, her name is Maud, and she worked how many hours? Right, she was working 30 hours a week. She was the number one salesperson in the company. Nobody knew. Nobody had any idea. I don't even think the store manager had any idea that she was knocking it out of the park. Now, why would that be? Well, it's because it's not obvious to spot who good salespeople are. It isn't obvious. If I ask you to tell me what the best football player in the world, soccer player, sorry, American English, the best soccer player in the world looks like, and I ask you, does anyone know what the best soccer player in the world looks like? Is anybody listening to me? Does anyone know what the best soccer player in the world looks like? Messi. Who? Messi. All right. So could you give me like 2 sentences that describe Lionel Messi? Argentinian bloke, plays for Barcelona, best player in the world. What does he look like? Yeah, he's smaller than me. He's probably 5'8". Chunky, stocky little fella, low to the ground. Not the quickest guy. Is he the best athlete? No. Does he run the most? No, not at all. He's the best player in the world. Second best player in the world. Anyone know who the second best player in the world is? This is not all according to me. This is sort of general opinion. Cristiano Ronaldo. Who said that? You said that. Okay, stand up. All right, you don't have to stand up. What does Cristiano Ronaldo look like? Yeah, he's 6'3". He's, built like this. Fastest runner, beats Olympic sprinters. Built like a rake. Completely different. They're the two best players in the world. How do you describe what best in the world looks like? Even in a physical game like soccer, you can't. You can't. What do the best salespeople look like? No idea. No idea. When I talked to you last time at the QB, I told you about a couple of women that were working in the London store, in VS in London, Binta and Mia. And I showed you pictures of those guys, and they're in the book. You would never know looking at them, you would never know talking to them, that they're the best salespeople in the world. And they are. So the key thing is we've got to track individual sales, and we're not doing it right now. And finally, if you're not depressed enough, who's depressed at this point? If you're not depressed enough, the fifth big problem with our stores organization is, amazingly, we don't give incentive to sell, generally. Now, store managers have a little bit of an incentive, but of the 100,000 people that work in our company, about 95,000 of them have no incentive to sell more. It doesn't matter to them. They get exactly the same pay, whether we make a good sale or a bad sale. Can that be right? Can that be just? Can that be sensible in the year 2014? I just don't think it is. Time for a rethink, people. Let me give you an example from one of our stores in the UK. So I went into, it's a Victoria store. Patty won't mind me telling this story. Went into a Victoria store in the UK. And we're very, very proud of ourselves in the UK. We think we're running a brilliant business, right? So we went into the store in the UK, and it was the day that the T-shirt bra had set. And I went to the front table, and there's the T-shirt bra. It's available in 6 colors, 1 frame, 2 panty styles, okay? So for my lovely wife, I thought I would buy some new bras and knickers for her, British English. So I go in, and I say, I can do this. I know exactly what I want. It's the day that the set has launched, so everything's there. And I try to buy the 9 items that I want. 3 bras, 2 panties, 9 items. It's a little harder than I think. So a very nice associate says, can I help you? I need a bit of help. I say, I do. I'd like the blue, the gray, and the black, please. Here's the size and the 2 matching panties. 9 pieces. You got it? She says, great, I'll get them for you. So I say, terrific. I'll be just over in beauty, and I'll be back in 5 minutes. So I zip away and do my shopping, and I come back, and she's laid out on the table 5 pieces for me. There's a bra, and there's a panty, and there's a bra and 2 panties, and one of the bra. So, and she goes, look what I found for you. This is great. So I say, well, that's good. That's good. How about the other 4 pieces I was looking for? She said, I'm sorry, we're out of stock. I don't have the sizes that you want. And that's the end of the conversation. So I go, okay. So I put the stuff in the bag, and I kind of bumble along to the checkout, and I think, that's not very good, is it? It's the day that this set has launched. My wife is a regular-sized human being. This isn't going to be that difficult. I'm not sure we've got this right. So she goes away. I don't want to embarrass her. So I go back to the table, and I just work a little harder. I just dig a little deeper. And it does take me another 5 minutes, but I find all of the 4 pieces that I'm looking for. So the 9 pieces, of course they're in the store. It's the day that it launches, and I'm looking for mediums and 36C. That's not hard to find, and I find all the 9 pieces. So what does that tell us? What does that tell us? Well, on the metrics that we currently manage the company, the sale of the 5 pieces was golden. It was golden. Why? Because I'm one person, I walked through the door, and I became a sale. So the conversion rate is 100%. Tick. I bought bras and panties. We measure the ability to sell outfits. Tick. We measure ADS. I had 5 pieces. Tick. We measure average unit sale, ADS, average dollar sale. It's about $80. Tick. The lady told me her name. When I would have gone to check out, I would have known the associate's name. Tick. My experience as a customer buying 5/9 of what I was looking for on all of our metrics was brilliant. It's not right, is it? Do you think that lady, and she is lovely, and it is not her fault, it's my fault, it's our fault, do you think that lady who helped me would have worked a little bit harder to find the other 4 pieces if she was going to get 10% of everything that went in my basket? Does anybody think that she wouldn't have worked harder had she been given a financial incentive? I'm open if you do, but I don't think anybody here would believe that. It doesn't make her greedy. It doesn't make her, grabbing. It just makes her a normal human being. That's all it does. So in the tests that we've put in place to change this terrible state of affairs that is the big 5 problems, we are seeing unbelievable results. Unbelievable results that can change the game. Now, they won't change the game overnight. It will take us time to rebuild a sales organization that is based on paying people properly. It's based on having more full-time than part-time. And if you've got to be part-time, that's good. But please give us 16 hours. I need a minimum. You need to build up some expertise and some capability. I think the turnover rates can go down to less than 20, possibly even 10%. Maybe at world-class level at Container, 5%. And boy, are we going to track sales. And boy, are we going to pay people an incentive. So this is much bigger than me. This is Les's project. And we all are going about trying to make this a reality. And I think what's great about this is it will make retailing a noble profession.